I'm bored today and really nothing to talk about. And I saw this, so hey, let's talk about it. It's this video from Def Noodles. Dennis, should SNEAKO should not be banned from YouTube.
Welcome,
It looks like the video from Nick is not green. Nick is starting to really circulate around about YouTube should ban SNEAKO. I, of course, have done my reaction to this video 10 days ago. The real trendsetter. Papa Gut is. It's right here. Nick is not green calls to deplatform SNEAKO. Of course. Okay. And I watched the video. Basically what happens, and this, I think this was at the time that, I think the reason that it's recirculating is, I think SNEAKO got like unbanned from YouTube. I think he was on like a week ban or something. And so he responded to it, so now it's getting pumped back into the algorithm. But basically this is what happened. So SNEAKO had made a video about a girl. I forget her name exactly. But basically in the video, he says to the girl that the reason that she's a feminist is because she has not been satisfied correctly, and then proceeded to simulate what SNEAKO would consider more satisfactory. I'll look at that after. Sorry, brother. More satisfactory engagement. Now, a lot of people said that he was simulating SA, which was not true. What he was simulating was a little bit of an intense situation, you know. That's how I interpreted it. And I'm not a particular fan of SNEAKO, but I don't like to leverage false accusations against people. I think it's very harmful. I think that it causes people to tune out of the conversation about SA culture. Especially since that's my primary focus is to educate young men on it. Some people are saying it's still harassment. Maybe. And if he got a strike for that, that's fine. I don't really care. But yeah, sure, I don't think he should be banned. I'm a little curious about Def Noodles' perspective. And the reason is this. Okay? Correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like Dennis doesn't care. Dennis had this whole video here. SNEAKO is a low IQ Andrew Tate wannabe. He was kind of calling out SNEAKO. It didn't seem to work view-wise for him. And now he's, you know, playing the other field. Now, I know what you're saying, Papa Gut. You've made videos critical of SNEAKO. Most of your videos are. And then there's the video, of course, that I just referenced is also a supporting video. But I also don't think that there's any nuance to Dennis. I think that, like I've been saying for how long, I think Dennis is going to start going red pill. Because he's got nothing else left. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. But based on my engagement and history with Dennis, I don't think that he really cares about anything. I think this is really just kind of a tactic to talk about something. And kind of be seen as like cool by more, maybe of like the more commentary bro community in some capacity. That's just my feeling. Could be wrong. Let's give it a watch.
welcome, folks. Hope you're all doing amazing today.
So yeah, SNEAKO should not be banned from YouTube.com.
This Friday, we have the third Super Roast Battle.
Okay,
Make sure you get
I
your
don't
tickets.
care about that.
September 16th, 8 p.m. in Hollywood, California. It's going to be a lot of fun. The first two
Probably
were a
not.
lot of fun. Tickets are at the top of the description as well as a pinned comment. Make sure you check it out. And today's video is about SNEAKO. Now, if you watched my last video,
Would I consider it sexual harassment? Maybe. I guess like legally, sure, or like from technically, I guess. You know, I guess it would be. It technically would be. I just personally, I think people are over exaggerating it, in general. To be honest with you, so.
video on SNEAKO. I'm not really the biggest fan of him. I think he's Andrew Tate wannabe, try hard. He's definitely in incel territory, even though he probably...
Well, I mean, just so you know, you don't really know what the word incel is. Let's just be very clear. Dennis called me an incel, and then he said, even though I'm married, I have to still be an incel, and then he linked statistics of sexual intercourse with married people. I think that word doesn't mean anything from you. You know what I mean? It's just a word. Like, it's just weird.
He isn't an incel himself, but I imagine a lot of incels love to watch him because he's got that red pill, you know, rhetoric that helps people cope with the fact that they're just lonely motherfuckers. With all that...
Yeah, I mean, I guess that part would kind of right. I think a lot of people gravitating towards red pill are young, lost men, especially feeling disenfranchised by a world that belittles their potential struggles of young men. I'm not saying that there aren't women's struggles, but this is usually what happens is that like women are like, hey, we have a struggle, feminism, which is true. And then men respond by saying, us too. And then, or some of them respond by saying, go back to the kitchen. But others respond by saying, us too. And then people are like, no, men can't have problems because of patriarchy and blah, 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 And so I think a lot of young men are lost in that sense. Yeah.
That being said, another creator recently made a video requesting that YouTube ban SNEAKO.
This is not going to be a normal video. Today, I want to briefly talk about the content creator SNEAKO and ask YouTube to ban him from the platform.
Okay, well, this already started bad. I mean, why the actual fuck are you making videos asking people to be banned? I'm pretty sure that YouTube is aware of shit that happens on their platform.
Well, that's not necessarily true. Okay.
I don't think that...
I mean, there's a content creator named Glendon Cameron I've talked about who's literally admitted to sexually assaulting like 16 and 17-year-old girls with the help of their mother. YouTube does not. A lot of times, businesses don't care unless it's like forced in their front of their face. I'm not saying that in general, right? Especially, yeah. I mean, it doesn't necessarily know everything that's going on their platform, but okay.
Making videos demanding that other creators get banned is really the way to go. Honestly,
if he truly, this is the problem, is that Nick's video asserts that he was actually simulating like sexual assault, and if that was true, then like yeah, I could see why he would want to push like banning, but I think that that's a mischaracterization. I think the biggest problem is that Nick is not green, probably believes what he's saying, which is a little bit scary in the way that we're moving when it comes to the conversations surrounding that topic, where people like that's the kind of the scary part. It's like people are actually believing what they're saying even when they're wrong.
The slippery slope. A lot of people have said this before. Now, before we move forward, I want to make something unequivocally clear. I'm as far left as you can get.
You are not.
Think
you're really you can't, like definitionally you really aren't. Like people who are super far left aren't into like edgy jokes, and you've defended like a lot of different very bad jokes. So you're not as far left as you can get in any capacity. You don't have to assert that. You don't have to like dishonestly assert that. You could be, hey, I lean left. Okay. That's fine. But like to assert that you're as far left as they get is not even close to true. I mean, why would you just that's not even true.
Universal basic income is a terrific idea. I think women should...
Really? I do too, Dennis. Maybe you've been watching my videos and learning.
Have the right to choose. In fact,
or maybe Andrew Yang makes more sense.
As you can get. I think universal basic income is a terrific idea. I think
I'd love to talk to you about that, Dennis. That'd be a really great conversation. I'm not even being sarcastic. I haven't talked about UBI in a very long time. Although it's more fun to talk to people about UBI who disagree. But
women should have the right to choose. In fact, I think...
Well, let's not go that far, Dennis. Come on. Women have the right to choose. Choose what? Okay. The only thing that women should be able to choose is what color paint the house is. You know what I mean? Like, give women limited options, like what color the house is, what kind of napkins you use, the decisions that men don't care about. And then let the men can make all the rest of the important decisions, you know? Like what food the woman should cook them. Just fucking around.
I think it should be codified. I think the social safety net should be expanded. We should have universal health care. That's just...
Yeah, well, UBI would be like an expansion of the social safety net. Yeah,
the tip of the iceberg. And with all that being said, one other thing that I do profoundly believe in is
But just so you know, leftists don't like UBI. I just want you to be aware of that. Like, and that's not even like, fuck you, Dennis. That's like something that people don't really understand. They don't like UBI. They believe like all basic needs should be met, like housing and whatnot. They don't think that you should give people like money. And then like the fundamental concept of universal basic income, especially the one that Andrew Yang pushes, actually comes with the idea of replacing our current welfare like institutions because they're so cumbersome. They're very cumbersome systems. They're also what's the word? I can't remember the word. But Jesus Christ, they require. I need to say the word. I have to get it. What's the word I'm looking for? It's gonna come to me. Fuck. Conditional. Boom. They're very conditional. They can be difficult to get onto, and it decentivizes people wanting to get off of them because it can be difficult to get back on them. You know, there's a lot of that's the whole idea. So it would be optional. So you'd either maintain your traditional welfare, or you can get the UBI of $1,000 a month.
That everyone should have the right to express themselves, regardless if I agree with their ideas or not. And I think that a lot of SNEAKO's ideas are absolutely repulsive. A lot of the things he says are damn right awful. But I do believe that he should have the right to say them regardless, because we already live in a highly censored society.
He's probably being genuine about this. It's, you know, it's so interesting because I think, and I hate that to be charitable to the dentist here, but I think Dennis has the past couple of years, the only thing he's really done is like virtue signal to the left. And so now he's starting to get negative attention from people, I guess you'd consider like his audience, which are probably a little more left leaning. And now he's starting to realize, he'd be like, oh my God, these things matter, you know? Because he went from like reporting on news, drama news, to like trying to express his opinion on things, which hasn't really been going particularly well.
Tech overlords are already censoring everybody. Here
we go. Here, YouTube has rules against sexual harassment for a reason, to protect people on their platform from having to deal with other creators sexually harassing them. That would be why. And simulating having sex with people you dislike crosses the line of sexual harassment. It's not about freedom of speech. It's about protecting creators from having to deal with sexual harassment. Why does everybody focus so much on what SNEAKO, this is what Brian Beer is saying, and not on the effects this has on female creators like Chad, who are subjected to seeing people like SNEAKO pretend to violently have sex with them? See, we're really bordering calling it rape. I agree that people shouldn't be banned for differences of opinion, but I do think that YouTube should be a platform where people can feel safe knowing that people will be removed to choose sexual harassment. I think the problem is, because like I get what Ryan's saying, and if YouTube decided to ban SNEAKO, like I wouldn't be like, oh my God. But then on the other hand, people would be like, well, listen, this is just like a very edgy joke, and then like how far do we go to ban edgy jokes or not? You know what I mean? Like how far do we go? Can we potentially go too far? See, simulate sexual assault. A lot of people are parroting that. It's one of those conversations to have. It's like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it could be a slippery slope. You know, it could also be YouTube just putting their foot down, saying, "Hey, no, you can't, sexually harass content creators." If they wanted to make that assertion, personally, I wouldn't ban them. I feel like we are bordering like an edgy joke. I feel like it doesn't cross a line, but yeah.
Left and right. I mean, it's hard to have a video that doesn't get demonetized nowadays because you literally say the word fuck. So I don't know if advocating.
I personally don't have that problem. I don't know what it is. I maybe it's because I tend to censor myself well enough at the beginning of videos, and I do very long form videos. So
for more censorship and more banning of people for their speech is really the route to go. By banning people, these social media platforms are creating literal martyrs. The amount of publicity that Andrew Tate got after his ban is something that he could have never hoped for.
So listen, I don't think Andrew Tate should have been banned either, because a lot of the allegations against him hadn't been proven, et cetera, et cetera. I've made takes about this on the other videos. I think if we look at it though, like more objectively, like one of the fears is the martyrdom aspect, but Andrew Tate has been getting like significantly less attention since he's been banned. Like the reality is that the ban did work. There's still a few videos of him floating around. There's probably people that have jumped ship from YouTube to go to Rumble to watch more of him. But it has absolutely like reduced the amount of what is it called? Exposure that Andrew Tate has gotten. On the offhand, though, I think something that's a little bit of a stronger argument to operate with when it comes to this is like it's less about the martyrdom aspect, because again, nobody really seems to care too much about Andrew Tate. Frankly, I think if he just stayed up, he would have just fizzled out because people were just getting bored of him anyway because they realized he was kind of stupid. The better thing to focus on, though, is the potential radicalization, I would say, of like young men who watch him and like gravitate towards Andrew Tate, and then they end up picking up on like this sexist bullshit. Rather than trying to like de-radicalize people like that. I would be where I would focus more than anything else. I like to engage with ideas rather than to ban them. There are some ideas that should be banned though. Like honestly, like you shouldn't be able to be, I don't think that you should be able to like go around talking about how you should be killing people in some capacity, et cetera, like dangerous, like KKK shit. I wouldn't say should be up, stuff like that, but
even at the height of his whole shit that was going on in the last couple of months. Now he has this audience that's been galvanized to support him no matter fucking what. And he's going to go out and build his own platform and do the whole Alex Jones thing. Getting Alex Jones banned didn't help remove Alex Jones's message. He is just as effective, if not more effective now. He's still going.
I don't know if that's necessarily true. I don't know if I would agree with that.
On Rogan, he's still going on all these.
Well, he's going on Rogan, but a lot of people look at him as like a joke, and he was just lost a lawsuit. I don't know if I would say that his influence has definitely not spread. It's just been like maintained. Who's Alex Jones? Yeah. I don't know. I just don't think that the banning of him, again, I don't think he should have been banned, but I don't think the banning of Andrew Tate has caused more people to go to Andrew Tate. I think it's had like a less impact. It's so funny. I watched the Fresh and Fit stream where we talked to Destiny one on. Fresh Prince, the blacker one. Sorry, it's the easiest way. You know, he brought up a really interesting point. I thought it was actually a really good point about why Andrew Tate got banned. And he's like, when Andrew Tate was just talking to people, and he doesn't agree with the ban, obviously. He's a red pill guy, but he's like, when Andrew Tate was just talking to people in general, nobody cared. But then once he went on Twitch, he was on Andrew Ross's stream so much. Now all of a sudden you're pushing ideas. And his perspective was that aren't dangerous, but could be perceived as such, or could be perceived as like sexist, because little kids are picking up on it, and little kids are only really looking at like the jokes about women and taking it too seriously. That's my understanding of what he said. I was like, that's an interesting take. I still think a lot of the shallow aspect of what Tate says is very misogynistic, and that's what draws people in. But it was interesting.
Different podcast, and Nelk podcast, and getting a ton of publicity. He's still a part of culture. Banning people from social media doesn't resolve the problem. Yes, people say gross shit that we don't agree with, but making videos advocating for people to get banned, it's just a matter of time before all those fingers turn to you.
I'm going to keep this video really short because I
actually think this is a genuine take from Dennis. Maybe part of it comes from like a slight fear of it happening to him. Then again, he got banned on Twitch because he showed big boobies on like literal tits. So, you know.
I want to say my piece and give SNEAKO and his fans as little ammunition to fire back as possible, because we know that every time someone utters his name on YouTube, he feels the need to make 5 videos crying about women and society or whatever.
He may make those videos.
True.
But what has just happened is his fans and SNEAKO have been emboldened to now run with a narrative that they're being silenced.
Yeah, true.
That they're somehow the internet's outlaws. Like, this never works. If anything, it just brings more people who are attracted,
like Cactus Jack,
to the type of message that SNEAKO delivers to SNEAKO, because
it also allows them to like hold on to the conspiracy theory, because some of the things that SNEAKO says are very conspiratorial. Is that a word? It has to be, because I said it. And a lot of what he says centralizes around like not trusting any powers that be, to a point where he will be more willing to listen to someone like Nick Fuentes, who pushes the ideas that Jewish people run the world, and the idea that people of different races shouldn't mix. He's more receptive to those ideas because they go against the status quo than like more status quo ideas like women should be respected. So yeah, it kind of defeats that little conspiracy demon there.
They are legitimately looking for that kind of bullshit. I would much rather have a marketplace of ideas where people can just debate this bullshit right out and talk it out and own each other and do whatever the fuck they got to do to talk this out, instead of just straight up silencing people.
Before we begin, I do want to say that most of the time I don't believe that deplatforming someone is the proper way to deal with a controversy. A lot of times creators that I disagree with on a personal level are mostly harmless, and I don't believe that disagreeing with someone's personal values are ground for removal from YouTube or Twitch or any other social media platform. In general, policing content can be dangerous.
Except for TikTok, because they'll ban you for fucking anything. Yeah, I got a video banned. Yeah, like just today actually. I just decided to post something. I was just scrolling through TikTok. I don't usually post normally anymore. Oh, it came back up. It was this video, dude, about this girl, and I'm not trying to be rude, but this girl was overweight, and that doesn't matter as much, but she was overweight, and then she was complaining that the homeless center wouldn't give her good food. And the food they gave her was like chicken and vegetables and rice. Like, it was actually good food. And she's complaining about getting free food, and she's like harassing somebody that works at the shelter or whatever. And she's like, this isn't good, blah, 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 and I'm a diabetic. It's like, that food is what you should be eating if you're diabetic. I mean, you know what I mean? I was like, Jesus. Shit's fucking crazy.
But as you're about to see, SNEAKO has grossly violated YouTube's terms of service and qualifies for removal from the website.
Then let YouTube take care of it.
Well, this would be him calling for YouTube.
We're so unlucky.
Shut up.
Lucky that you didn't see my life.
This would be him calling for it. That's his whole argument. Like, hey, YouTube, this is a problem, blah, 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 blah. And then YouTube would look, and then they would determine whether it was or wasn't a problem. That would be like the argument there.
For you stepping in and using your platform to demand that another creator be removed. That's straight up the most bitch-made shit that I've ever seen in my entire life. It's literally the equivalent of sitting in class and somebody says something you don't like or cracks a joke that offends you, and then immediately telling teacher about it.
I'm gonna go into too much depth here.
You see how he's like projecting so hard, like he's on this like arc where you should be able to say anything you want. It's like weird. I'm not saying I disagree with Dennis, I guess for the most part. It's just like you could see the projection. Like I honestly think that like if this video was made last year, and I could be wrong, but I think that Dennis would just agree with it outright. He would just agree with it. I think that's one of the biggest things that's the feeling I get from it.
But if you don't already know who SNEAKO is, he is a gaming and commentary content creator who continues to spread extremely harmful messages to a rapidly growing audience, usually violently ranting about women, politics, or men wearing makeup.
What does that mean, violently ranting?
Extremely harmful messages to a rapidly growing audience, usually violently ranting about women, politics, or men wearing makeup.
What does violently ranting mean? Doesn't that feels like an exaggeration? Like he's obnoxiously ranting, but violently ranting? I just kind of feel like we're using words out of turn. It's like it's a situation where I feel like, and this happens a lot, where people will have a feeling about a situation and then they'll use the words that reflect their feelings rather than the words that reflect what's actually happening in the situation. You know what I mean?
He's sort of like the new Andrew Tate now that he's not on the platform anymore.
Nah, he's not the new Andrew Tate. He's some Andrew Tate tryhard. Let's be real.
Okay. Well,
SNEAKO is just...
semantics, yes. Okay.
It's almost funny how hard he tries to be Andrew Tate. And SNEAKO's definitely riding that Andrew Tate wave now that Tate has been banned on all platforms. SNEAKO is just absolutely desperate for any shred of relevancy in the red pill community.
He was recently banned off Twitter.
Sure. I still think the Andrew Tate wannabe kind of sums that up. But okay.
Twitter and now has 2 channel strikes on YouTube, but I'm not exactly sure what the reason for that is. Now a little...
Wow, do I remember them? I think one of them was a COVID misinformation, and what was the other one? Fuck. I could be wrong with that, but I think it was COVID misinformation. And then I think the other one... fuck, what was the other one? Fuck, I don't really remember. It might have had to do with the Jewish stuff. I could be wrong about that. I might be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure one of them was COVID misinformation, though.
A little over a month ago, SNEAKO went on his live stream to talk about one of my friends, Chad, who gave me permission to make this video, but had no part in the creation of it, and it wasn't her idea or suggestion for me to...
So, can I have permission to make this video? Okay.
Make this. He reacted to a video she made about a TikTok dating coach, and I'm just going to play the...
So, the thing that's being blocked right now at the bottom says graphic depictions of sexual assault. If this guy had said, graphic depictions of sex or simulated sex, I would have been like, okay, cool, that's fine. But to me... This is the problem is like this is not, and I genuinely don't feel like this is an accurate depiction of what is actually about to be seen. So that's the biggest problem that I have. And so if your entire video is based on something that you misinterpreted, then it kind of invalidates a lot of your video. Because now you see people like, and I like Ryan Beard, he's a cool guy, but like Ryan, who's focusing a lot on talking about it, how it's where it's simulating having sex. Right, you notice how he's saying it's simulating having sex because you can't really say simulating sexual assault anymore. You can refer to it as like here, pretending to have violent sex right here. But they're starting to realize like, yeah, you know what, we went a little too far in our representation of it or our presentation of it. So now we're going to kind of shift the goalpost a little bit and say, well, it's just simulating having sex rather than like sexual assault.
The video here so nothing can be left out of context, but I am going to issue a huge content warning for sexual assault. So if that's something that you're uncomfortable with in any way, I would leave the video now.
You know what's so funny about the internet?
What's that?
Hides the fact, and like this feminist garbage hides the fact that she's attracted to that guy making the videos. It is what it is. Girls, you could vouch for it. You know it's true. She would. She would.
So
and
stupid.
you know what's true? What's so predictable? You could tell by the way she's talking that she hasn't been properly in a long time.
Yeah. Let's be real, bro. Like this SNEAKO guy, he
You're gonna say he doesn't have sex, Dennis?
talks like he's a fucking 12-year-old. I don't agree with
You guys might be good friends.
jack shit of what he says, but I'm gonna fight for his right to say it. Because if we're going out and trying to ban the biggest fucking...
Let's finish the video. Finish this part of the video, Dennis. Okay?
Idiots and tools on this platform, guess what? It's gonna come around. It always comes around. It always fucking comes around. There's no other way.
It always
comes. The guy's a moron. He's a fucking moron. And he gets rewarded the bigger of a moron that he is. Okay. And now he's going to be rewarded even more because...
It's just this part doesn't feel genuine. The other parts felt genuine, but it just kind of sounds like you're, you know, he's a moron. Like you're just kind of trying to rally the troops a little bit.
He can run with the narrative that he's being victimized by this whole white knighting that Nick is doing. Getting rid of SNEAKO.
White. Do you think it... see, that's where... Okay. Maybe this just... I don't know. I watched the video. I don't think Nick is white knighting anybody. I don't think that Nick is not green is white knighting anybody. I think that he's too sensitive. But like this is something that's often true, is that people generally are genuine, even if they're wrong or I feel they're wrong. So I think that Nick actually feels that this is a bad thing. I think that he probably, well, that's the scary part, thinks that it might have been an actual depiction of sexual assault, which he's wrong about. But I don't think he's white knighting. I think he's friends with that girl, Chad. And the reason that he probably asked her, like, oh, can I make this video? I know we joked about it. But realistically, he probably asked her more from the perspective of sometimes defending somebody can have, like, the opposite impact. and make it worse. So he might have been like, is it okay if I make this topic, or do you kind of want to let it die? Because it probably would have been better for the discourse if it had just died. Because now it puts a lot of focus on this girl, Chad, and it makes her, like, put her in a situation where now, like, she seems like it's just an uncomfortable spot to be in, where, like, she's the victim in the situation. And, like, even if you believe that she is, which she obviously is, still being, like, I guess, harassed in some capacity, now it puts, like, a spotlight on her, and it might be unwanted attention where she may have wanted it to, like, go away. And that's her right to be able to, like, talk about it or not talk about it, or, you know. So I don't think it's white knighting. I think it's, like, a genuine concern. I just think that it's over exaggerated. I think that it's I think that they're incorrect, but I don't think it's a white knighting situation. At least when I hear the word white knighting, I look at white knighting as, like, I guess, like an intentional, like, a dishonest kind of a thing. Like, I'm a white knight. Like, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I think you understand at least what I'm trying to say.
Doesn't get rid of all the SNEAKOs on the internet. SNEAKO isn't the problem. SNEAKO is a symptom to the problem.
What's the problem, Dennis?
He is just us seeing what toxic masculinity looks like. And instead of banning that, we have to fight that in the marketplace of ideas. We have to literally...
You should probably stop saying we, Dennis, because I don't think that you could really engage with this, but...
break it down systematically instead of just trying to silence those people, because you're essentially empowering him so that all the fucking incel 12-year-olds who don't know jack shit about life and think owning a Bugatti is the greatest sign of success that a human being can have.
Personally, I wouldn't fit in a Bugatti. I'd get a Dodge Challenger. I'm still debating on getting it. I just don't know if I want to spend the money on it. I could afford it, but it's just like, is it a responsible decision? I have two perfectly functioning fine cars, you know? Reliable cars. Do I need a fucking, you know, I don't know.
We'll still look up to him.
I don't know.
We need to better educate the next generation of men, not silence the stupid motherfuckers who learn how to exploit the attention of dumb 12-year-olds who probably don't have a dad at home to be a good example for them of what a good man is.
Wow.
Silencing SNEAKO isn't resolving the problem. It's just...
yeah, I could get an older model, I guess. I don't know. Maybe.
Making it worse, because now you're giving him the outlaw badge.
Sure.
And goodness knows there are a lot of people who love to root for the outlaw.
In a while. So she's on the internet making this garbage video, promoting all this feminist garbage to your fucking lonely girls in the comment section. What you really need, Chad, is some yeah, shut up with your feminism. Yeah, come here, that's what you need. And she's gonna go, that's what you need. You need some sense back into you.
Yeah, this dude is gross. He's fucking gross. But that doesn't justify making a video demanding that YouTube take action.
Well, so if you interpreted that as him pretending to actually sexually assault Chad, then I could understand why you would want him to be deplatformed. I just don't think that's actually what's happening. I think that the quivering at the end is her just like, oh my God, like she likes it a lot. You know, my wife can sound like that sometimes. I think it's supposed to be like rough intercourse. He's saying she hasn't gotten the right intercourse, so here I'm going to give it to you the correct way. You know, again, fine to be uncomfortable. I'm just saying, if you actually believed that it was sexual assault, then I can understand where you're coming from, and I would see why you would want it to get deplatformed, right? I just don't. I think that's a misinterpretation of it.
YouTube's going to take action if YouTube finds.
You wonder if that's how Chad interpreted it. That's fair. I mean, yeah, she has every right to be uncomfortable. That doesn't mean that it should be a bannable offense. You know what I mean?
Finds a reason to take action, and trust me, YouTube already takes more action than it should. YouTube's already more proactive at banning people who do far less than what SNEAKO is doing here.
Like who? I'm just curious. I've never heard an example of that.
Like, is that really what we want? We want YouTube to just have the button and keep pressing it.
Well, who are you referring to? Who's gotten like unjustifiably banned? I wonder.
Everybody, because pretty soon we're not gonna be able to do jack shit. We're already in a position where YouTube has been completely corporatized, where it's almost impossible.
Himself? Really? With what?
To start a brand new channel and grow it the same way that it was possible to do 10 years ago, even 5 fucking years ago.
Well, yeah, but that's because there are more people in the space fighting for attention and like views and time. I don't know if it has to do with youth. I feel like people over exaggerate YouTube being terrible. Like, yeah, they've censored some of their stuff. Like, you can only say, I don't even know. Like, I mean, I say some raunchy shit. I don't even know how much they really censor stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like the reason it's more difficult is because there are more content creators. There's more people watching, but then there's also more content creators trying to take up that watch time. So proportionally, there's not as much view time to go around. You also have, You have things like TikTok as competitors, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook as competitors, taking up some of that view time. You even have like Netflix and Hulu are also like considered competitors to an extent because YouTube does focus more on long-term content or long-form content, especially now that TikTok exists. If I'm taking a shit, I'm not on YouTube anymore. I'm sitting scrolling through my TikTok. But if I'm sitting here playing a game, or if I'm doing if I'm actually doing content, playing a game, streaming, so I guess doing content, but also editing content, I'm sitting and I'm playing a game and I'm watching another video while I do it, right? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I want to. Can you give me an example of people who have been like overly censored? I just would like to know who we're referring to.
YouTube does not want independent YouTubers to exist on the platform anymore.
What?
Just a couple of years ago, one of the heads of YouTube content literally said that. They think we're all sweaty troll incels who
What is he referring to?
live in our mother's basements. Those are the words from one of the people who are the chief of content on YouTube. They don't want people like us. Now we want them to actively be banning people. It's going to get to a point where it's literally impossible to exist on YouTube. And people are just going to go straight up to TikTok where you can't even make a fucking living, and even saying the word fuck will get you banned.
Yeah, it could. What are we talking about? Can somebody give me like a something to look at where like the chief of content at YouTube or whatever? I wish he would have said the name. Something. Can somebody give me something to look at for this? I have no idea what he's referring to.
So it's just stupid. Let people exist. Let them fucking dig their own graves instead of turning.
What is he?
It's going to get to a point where it's literally impossible to exist on YouTube. And people are just going to go straight up to TikTok where you can't even make a fucking living, and even saying the word like us. Now we want them to. Those are the words from we're all sweaty. Just a couple of years ago, one of the heads of YouTube content.
Heads of YouTube content.
Literally said that. They think we're all sweaty troll incels who live in our mother's basements. Those are the words from one of the people who are the chief of content on YouTube. They don't want people like us. Now we want them to actively be banning people. It's going to get to a point where it's literally impossible to exist on YouTube. And people are just going to go straight up to TikTok where you can't even make a fucking living, and even saying the word fuck will get you banned. So it's just stupid. Let people exist. Let them fucking dig their own graves instead of turning them into these
You heard of the quote? I can't find the quote. I don't know what he's talking about.
Outlaws. Just let them talk themselves down. The cycle of existence on social media is
I'm
about
not saying he's wrong. I would just like to see it.
2 years anyway. There's going to be somebody, as soon as SNEAKO becomes irrelevant or banned, who comes up and takes his spot. You're just empowering somebody else to come in. You're just showing, oh, this is the path.
I don't think so. Only because SNEAKO, what makes SNEAKO so prolific, is that the right word? SNEAKO used to be a very reputable content creator, and people respected him a lot. From like a young age, he would say, so he would have some like more nuanced opinions. And he would talk about things. They were more right leaning, which is fine, but he would be more intelligent about it. And so like what makes SNEAKO particularly popular is that he had generated a lot of credibility before he kind of flipping the script and going like very, I guess, going too far. And so I don't know if you could I don't know if there would be like the next one to come up. I'm not sure that would actually happen. But maybe
get all of this attention. Become another SNEAKO. Because SNEAKO isn't going away. There have been SNEAKOs before even SNEAKO existed. You go back Andrew Tate. You go back Fresh and Fit. You go back...
Well, Fresh and Fit are still on the platform, though, so...
Kevin Samuels. You go back. You keep going back, bro. You can keep going.
Yeah, there's always going to be red pill people. Yes, yeah, we understand that.
Back.
Yeah.
There are people on people who have been doing this exact same shit. They never go away. They figure out a way. And if they're not there, there's going to be another person. I know I'm probably repeating myself at this point, but...
It would have been good to finish the video.
I just have to reemphasize this. Let these dumb fucks talk themselves to the grave. That's the only way to beat them. And focus on re-educating.
Yeah, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels.
The new generation of men, so that they don't act like SNEAKOs. So that they don't look up to the SNEAKOs and they know exactly what's wrong with this kind of behavior and why it's unacceptable. And why, as men, we shouldn't reward this kind of shit. But SNEAKOs being inadvertently rewarded by being told to get banned. It's seriously the most pussy shit I've ever seen.
I really just feel like it's not like, I don't know. Okay.
To demand that somebody you disagree with get banned. even if they're saying insanely gross shit. It's his right to say it. He's not shouting fire in a crowded theater, which is a standard for free speech, where that's one of the limitations. There's several limitations, but saying gross shit isn't one of them.
They're gonna do right after they did that. They're gonna clip that part and say, "I'm an incel problematic," but you know it's true. You can hear it in her voice. She hasn't been properly.
I mean, just read his chat. They're literally saying W misogyny. You know what I mean?
Well, everything here says L, actually. Where did you see that?
I mean, just read it.
Hear it in her voice. She hasn't right after they did that.
There's a ton of L's in his chat. I didn't even see that. Look,
where that's one of the limitations. There's several limitations, but saying gross shit isn't one of them.
They're gonna do right after they did that.
L, probably true. You're not Tate. It's facts.
They're gonna clip that part.
Where's the W misogyny?
Say, I'm an incel
L. There's one W,
problematic, but you
another
know
W, most L's
it's
though.
true.
A lot
You
of
can hear it in her
L's.
voice. She hasn't been
Wow,
properly.
there's a lot of L's in the chat. Hey, good for that chat. Good for that chat. L. One of them said W misogyny. Okay, we got one in there. I like how that W misogyny comes in like a wave of L, and just like, see, they're literally saying. Most of them actually aren't saying that.
I mean, just read his chat. They're literally saying
L. She's not attracted to you, loser, like you. So L. Damn.
W misogyny. You know what I mean? Like, you really think that the people who support...
It's not the same person spamming L's. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 different people saying L, and just on this freeze frame alone. What are you talking about?
SNEAKO are going to look at this and think, oh, wow, I think they're right about SNEAKO. Hell no, this is going to make them double down and support him even more, which is exactly what's been happening over the last few days. A lot of people disagree with SNEAKO, but they're coming out in his defense because they're...
I mean, when SNEAKO was banned, there was less attention being put on SNEAKO. I mean, like, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not saying he should be banned. I'm just saying...
there's a line that's been drawn. SNEAKO should be removed. I fucking disagree with SNEAKO, and I'm here. Yes, he should have his right to speak.
Do you?
Because everybody should. He should be...
I mean, like, not for nothing, but, like, your defense here should be, like, jokes shouldn't have a limit. That's what you say. So, wouldn't that align with it?
Be allowed to talk his shit, even if I don't agree with it. This is coming from somebody who was banned from Twitter.
I think that the biggest problem for me is that Dennis isn't actually engaging with the argument that this other person is making, that he thinks it's simulated sexual assault. That's the argument to engage with, not so much the banning. It's the argument to engage with.
For over a fucking year, without reason. I was literally banned from Twitter without fucking reason. And
no, you were banned from Twitter because you showed the inappropriate messages that one guy made towards Millie Bobby Brown when she was like young. I think he was like 20 and she was 16, and they wanted to remove that signal boosting, which I can understand. The same thing happened to me on my alt account when I called out a 19-year-old Zoe Laverne for talking to a 13-year-old, and then I showed the video of like her kissing him on the lips, and I was like, this is disgusting, and then they banned me and outright. So like, yeah, I wish I wasn't banned, but I could see why they wouldn't want, like, you know, when you look back, you go, okay, I can see why they didn't want that to go up in the first place. So,
and they came after every single other one of my accounts. And why? Because I reported on a story that literally everybody else reported, but I, for some reason, got banned.
Well, yeah, because you showed the content.
My other Twitter accounts have all been banned. They're still all banned.
Okay.
I get banned on Twitch literally every couple of weeks because of something that happens.
Well, somebody said the F slur multiple times in one of your streams, and then the other stream you literally showed an actual like porn star or stripper or whatever take off her top. What are you talking about? We're not like what are you talking about? You're acting like this came out of nowhere. To be honest, though, it was probably better that you were banned on Twitter, because after you got unbanned from Twitter, you started to spiral out of control.
So I don't want this to keep happening to me. I don't want this to keep happening to other people. I think it's...
Even if it doesn't matter what happens to SNEAKO, he's not going to have any impact on why you get banned. He showed actual full nipples on Twitch. What are you talking about? Like, this guy's insane. I tell you, he's projecting so hard onto the SNEAKO situation. I don't think that it's a genuine take. I mean, like, parts of it's saying genuine, but like, I think that like at the end of the day, it's a huge projection, and he's boiling the situations down so much that he's removed like any level of intelligence from either topic. He's not acknowledging the claim of simulated sexual assault, and then on the other hand, he's saying that like he can identify with SNEAKO in some capacity with getting falsely banned. But like, dude, you can't show boobies, naked nipples on Twitter and YouTube or TikTok or whatever the fuck, Twitch. Jesus. Well, you can't really show it on any of those platforms. So you're kind of victimizing yourself, obviously unjustifiably here. So, yeah, I think he's just making it about him.
It's fucking stupid for a creator to go out and demand that other people get banned without realizing that the same thing is going to happen to him very soon if he keeps pushing this narrative.
Too long, and now you make no sense. That's what happens, man. That's what happens, yo. Someone vouch for me. You know it's true.
Now, I don't think I have to explain why this is disgusting. SNEAKO is harassing a female content creator, telling her that the reason why she's so upset is because she hasn't had sex in a while, and then he proceeds to
no, because she hasn't had good sex. That's what his argument is.
aggressively simulate a sexual assault on Chad
That's the part that's a problem.
in his live stream in front of thousands of people.
I like how people are like, he never said that.
A while, and then he proceeds to aggressively simulate a sexual assault on
He
Chad.
never said that. He never said the words.
And why she's so upset is because she hasn't had sex in a while, and then he proceeds to aggressively simulate a sexual assault on Chad in
Guys, he never said that, Papa Gut. I watched the whole video with my fucking ears, with my thumbs in my ears. I never heard him once. Do I think he believes what he's saying? Yeah, I do. I think that he believes what he's saying. I think he's wrong, but I think he believes it. But it's all the dumb fucks in the comments that were like, he never said that. You're an idiot. Like, it's... Okay, he said it. You know, if you don't want to intellectually engage with my content, that's totally fine, okay? Go watch Sesame Street. But, I mean, Jesus goddamn Christ. Stop fucking trying to gaslight me. Okay?
his live stream in front of thousands of people.
I agree.
Although Sesame Street's probably better watched than Papa Gut content.
It was gross what SNEAKO did.
Wait, what? You
Still
agree?
doesn't justify getting him banned.
If I'm gonna be honest with you, if he was legitimately going through the motions and like actually legitimately stimulating raping this girl, then I think he should have been banned. So like you can't. I just feel like you can't really agree with that. If he was like, "Come here, I'm gonna fucking rape you," like, yeah, ban the fuck out of this guy. That's a line crosser. So like, what do you mean you agree? What? It's like a matter of interpretation, right? That's what it is. I that would cross if what this guy's saying, Nick is not great. If he was correct about his interpretation of the events, I would say that sure that's ban worthy. But I don't think that that's what's actually happening.
YouTube decides to get him banned, let YouTube do it. I'm sure there are enough
ultimately
people
YouTube would be the one deciding, but public pressure, yeah, sure. I get your argument.
Already looking at this shit, and with more than enough reasons to ban anyone for literally anything, but to publicly demand that somebody else be banned is perhaps the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
SNEAKO, who actively threaten other creators on YouTube, spread hate speech, and overall make YouTube a less enjoyable and more dangerous place for everybody who's on it. Not to mention that this clip alone
dangerous. Ooh.
Obviously violates YouTube's community guidelines around harassment. YouTube has banned creators even recently for much less, and I think that this is an
Exactly.
I just wonder who he's talking about. I don't know who we're referring to. We keep saying these words that I just don't know who we're referring to, but like banning people for much less. I feel like people say that. I've never seen an example of it.
Exactly. YouTube has banned people for literally much less, and here you are, demanding that YouTube be more active about banning? What kind of world are you trying to live in? A world where we can't even fucking talk?
Hey, maybe that wouldn't be so bad. We don't have to hear you talk anymore.
I don't like anything that SNEAKO said, but he still has a right to say it. He still has a right to make himself look like a jackass. It's protected speech.
Oh yeah, well I think he looked pretty based, Dennis. He looked pretty based in that video. Based SNEAKO, W misogyny.
That's all it is. But now here we are
Buggers.
demanding that this private platform continue to police speech to a further extent than what the First Amendment provides.
Well, okay. That's just like fundamentally kind of a weird thing to say. That's like a weird... that one's just weird. Okay, so I do think generally platforms have the ability or have the right and should be able to have the right to police speech beyond the First Amendment, right? So the First Amendment, so you can say whatever you want. It's like basically as long as you don't call to violence. But I could see why maybe a platform's like, yeah, I don't want people saying that like such and such minority group should be like extinct or something, or like less than like I was saying before. I don't think that like the KKK should be able to have YouTube and shit like that. Should we be able to police people saying the N-word? Because the N-word doesn't violate free speech. I could see why YouTube would police that. I could see why YouTube wouldn't allow people to say slurs, So they the slurs are protected by the First Amendment, but a company's like, yeah, don't want that on there. Don't want to harbor that information. You know what I mean? I felt there's a line. I feel like YouTube should be able to police a little bit. It's a private company.
I may not like anything that SNEAKO says. I don't agree with a man in any sort of way.
Until 6 months from now when you're fucking jerking him off.
Made a video literally breaking
Dennis will be the next SNEAKO if SNEAKO's banned, guys.
Down all the reasons why he's a fucking moron. I hate the dude. I don't think he says anything that makes any sense at any point. But he still has a right to say it.
Okay.
Under the Constitution. And to keep demanding that these private platforms, which are very trigger happy at banning people, like he even admitted, people have been banned for far less. Are we trying to make that far less even less? Are we trying to really establish this precedent?
Well, if they've been banned for far less, that means what SNEAKO's doing is more, so it wouldn't actually shift the needle. by that logic, but
where people are going to be deplatformed, completely deplatformed all the time for literally any fucking reason.
Obvious instance of a creator who is now causing more harm by existing on this site. And this isn't even about free speech. This is about taking action when a content creator spreads messaging like this. And I think YouTube would agree that someone like this definitely does not belong on their platform. If you watch this video,
YouTube would agree that literally everyone doesn't belong on their platform if you hear what their chief of content have to say.
Can you show us what their chief of content is? Oh, please, I'm just asking. I'm not saying you're lying. I just want to know what the fuck you're referring to. What are you saying?
They don't want independent creators on their platform anymore. It's why you don't see YouTube channels from independent creators blowing up the way that they used to be. It just doesn't happen anymore. You don't see people blowing up on YouTube anymore. They usually blow up on TikTok or Instagram. Or
I don't know what you're referring to. What is he referring to? Someone please help me out. Either right now or in the comments of the video or something, please. I don't know what he's talking about. Like I said, I think it has more to do with an oversaturated market. And the reason people blow up on TikTok and are able to translate over to YouTube, like I was able to do, is because YouTube, the average watch time is like 52 minutes a day. And, you know, these videos, let's say, is an average of 10 seconds or 15 seconds. So you go through like 200 videos a day. Throwing it out there. So you're able to kind of scrape the bottom of the barrel, and smaller content creators that don't really have a name or a voice or anything are able to kind of rise to the top. I think it has more to do with that. YouTube is a very saturated platform. But I don't know what he's referring to.
Or something else happens, they become viral meme sensations in some other way, and then they build a following in other places, and maybe they get views on YouTube, but it's very rare for people to blow up on YouTube. YouTube has been completely corporatized. Just look at the trending page. It's literally...
Yeah, because TikTok's not corporatized, right?
Mostly corporate bullshit, and that is all hand-selected by YouTube employees. Like, do we want YouTube to...
Do you think that YouTube employees are hand-selecting content? I don't know if that's true. Like, for them... Maybe. I don't know. The only thing that you... Okay, so, I mean, this is a whole conversation to have. I don't know... Like, obviously, YouTube is a corporate entity. They're going to promote things that are paid. Like, I know that they have, like, a sponsor type thing. Like, you could probably pay more money to get your video on the front page or whatever. For the most part, they're just trying to make money. So whatever people are gravitating to. It's also possible that you keep blaming the algorithm. Part of the algorithm might be people watching, liking particular videos over other particular videos, right? Like, if you have content that is better, there's more money put into the content. There's more money, more time, more effort, more energy into the content. Like, you're having more almost TV style or TV quality videos on YouTube. You're gonna gravitate towards that, rather than some fat asshole in a maroon shirt doing commentary on someone else's video that's doing commentary on someone else's video. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think that people like to blame the algorithm when part of the algorithm is the people watching the content. I'm just saying, I want to see this quote, what you're referring to. Because I feel like maybe historically you're not super honest, so I don't know if what you're saying is true. I would really just like to see it. I can't find it myself, so please send it to me. I don't know. You can tell me the name of the person who said it. Something.
Just go further in that direction because they're itching to do it. They're fucking just waiting to completely alter the algorithm so you can't even find videos from independent creators.
They don't think YouTube cares that much. I think YouTube wants money, and that's pretty much it. And the reason why that they have to censor content is for money. The only reason they're censoring content is because it makes them more money, because then advertisers won't advertise on their platforms.
They don't give a fuck about us. And you're demanding that they have more reasons to not give a fuck about us. Okay. I don't see how this can end well for anybody hoping to make a career on YouTube.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. You have a good point. Somebody said he thinks that's why he's losing views. Oh, that might be why he actually thinks he's losing. Yeah, maybe he's just an idiot and thinks that the reason he's losing views is because of the algorithm. The Al Gore. Al Gore is taking away my stuff. That was a bad joke. Algorithm. Get it? Anyway. Miss 100% of the shots you don't take, am I right? Yeah, no, that's not why. He's spiraling out of control ever since he got Twitter back and he fucked with me. And then, of course, he changed his content drastically, and people don't want to see that. People aren't particular fans of, like, the commentary he does because it's not super insightful. There's nothing, like, super deep-seated. You like that joke? Thank you. Which is the biggest thing because, like, my take is somewhat similar to Dennis's take when I made my video, but I'm more critically engaging with the content that I'm watching. Dennis is using Nick is Not Green's content as a basis to just say, to scream freedom of speech. I watched the video and I did commentary on the video and I explained my positions and why I feel that way and I acknowledged the argument that the guy said. And and like I operated from that capacity, right? So the reason is like realistically, nobody ever watched you for your commentary. People watched you because you were the first one up in the morning to report the whatever bullshit information was at the day, and you put it together in a compilation, and you barely talked in your videos, and you showed your face at the bottom without saying much. People liked that, and you know what? That's a talent. Do that. Why not do that? Not everybody's made to do everything, right? Like obviously, I was never made to do a fucking Olympic running or sprinting. So you know, you stick to what you're good at, but you're in a space where you're not good at it. And instead of just making you have a literal podcast channel and just focusing on doing podcast content there and the normal content on the main channel, you've drastically changed your content. People don't like it.
YouTube
video, and you also believe that SNEAKO should be banned from YouTube, you can go to his channel pages, click about, and then click the flag icon on the right side of the page and report the user. Thank you for watching.
Okay, yeah, this is like, there's a whole discussion around this on whether that in and of itself is against terms of service.
He's actually right about that. I think I said this too. I think on YouTube at least, like TikTok, it's against terms of service to do like a call to action like that potentially. So
pretty sure that YouTube isn't going to give a flying fuck that another creator is telling people to report another creator, especially
like that could be considered like brigade. Is the word brigading? I think that might be part of YouTube's thing. I think it was part of TikTok's thing, but I think that might be like part of YouTube's policy. Like, don't brigade somebody else. Am I using the right word? You know what I'm saying, right?
Because of the content that they're telling people to report over the fact that SNEAKO said those really gross things about Chat. At the end of the day, this is a lose-lose because not only are you galvanizing people around SNEAKO, some of whom, like myself, who would never support him under any instance. However, I support his right to say the bullshit that he says, even though I don't agree with any of it. You are also creating a precedent for YouTube to become more severe and proactive with their bans, which is a slippery slope that honestly, I don't think that we want to go down, that we are already pretty much halfway down, and that things aren't really going to start looking up anytime soon. Anyway, folks, make sure you guys take us to the next roast battle. Top of the description.
All right, cool. Ethan, what do you think about that? Ethan Klein, what do you think about this? What do you think about this take, Ethan Klein? What do you think about this take from your boy, Dennis Noodles? Thank you so much for watching, guys, and another special shout out to all my Patreon and Twitch subs. If you'd like to support this channel further than you already have by just watching the video alone, go down to the links below where you can sub on my Patreon, which will allow you to get your name on this beautiful black wall. Or you can go to the Twitch page and you can actually use a free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.